Alright, welcome back to another morning warm-up video, but this time we're going to be doing something slightly different. We're going to be doing the lines of some drawings that I did yesterday and seeing how that goes. So let's start where we'll be using a SEPA with Japan Material SB 56. So, and we have like 4 pages. You know, I don't really do this too often, despite, you know, you might have seen me doing it a couple of times on the channel, but not in reality. Also, we have a little adversity. So I forgot to charge the camera. So luckily we have the battery pack, or else today would not be possible. Today would be a skip. And I wish I had the digital sketch ready. At least I hope that I could put it in the video. It is an old sketch. The digital sketch looks better though. I feel like this is like not as good as that one, and it's because the perspective is wrong on this one. Not wrong, but not as dynamic as the other one was. You know the rules. You know, if you don't want to be spoiled by what's going on in the 4400 or the Twilight Zone, the original 1957 or whatever series, you know, escape now. You know, I'm gonna count to 5, and you know, it's up to you to make the decision to leave or stay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you're not gone, we will be giving out spoilers about 2 entirely non-related shows. So the 4400 and Twilight Zone. So specifically, what's going on in the Twilight Zone is that I'm finding out that season 5 is the season that has like all the episodes that I like. There's the episode with the dummy Caesar or whatever. The episode is so funny. This guy, this like Irish guy, has like a puppet, and the puppet is you know, it has a mind of its own, much like the other episode from the previous season with the guy with the puppet, and the puppet has a mind of its own. You know, but this one is much more funny because this puppet is like, you know, a criminal. The other puppet was just like kind of like you know, like just mean. This one is actually like physically a bad entity. Like this puppet is you know, bad news up and down, and I think that that's funny, you know, because the guy's like, the guy pretty much snitched on himself, and he didn't have to do that, but the puppet essentially, you know, made him commit crimes. And then the other one, the puppet was just like essentially taking over his life. But this one is a bit more funny, you know. That one was like kind of like, you know, oh, I feel bad for you. But this one is like, you know, you feel bad, but it's still funny. It's like a funny kind of feel bad. You know, you just laugh. But yeah, you know, would you consider this a warm-up? Would you consider this to be personal art? Maybe, but I think it's a warm-up because I get to use the brush pens, and obviously we could save it because we're almost out of personal art to do, but I thought it would be interesting to do this as a warm-up today, you know, switch it up, because I did do some warm-ups off camera, and some character development for something I'm working on. So I thought that this would be a little bit more interesting today. But we'll be doing this all the time? Probably not. Alright, so that's the first one. Let me just give you an overview of it. That's the first one. It's like some, I guess, deep sea creature thing inside of like a whiter cloak. And what do you know? It's another reasonably warm day. And what do you think is happening? The resolutioners are out again, guys. The resolutioners are back in droves. And here we go, we got more. So we'll be switching to the other pens to test out their grit and their dynamic. Hopefully I did bring an assortment and not just bring one, because I don't know. You just use what, the 56? So yeah, 56, 57, 58. So we're gonna use 58. I forget what 58 is. Alright, 58 is the brush pen. This is a, you know, I wish I would have had the clipboard instead, because having a clip like that is like very hard to draw or like get you know, a good get a good good line. But you know, we're using the trying to use pen pressure, because I personally do not like pen pressure. You know, I'm an anti-pen pressurist, bro. This is a big boat. I should have went a little bit harder. There we go. And then like right here. Wow, that's really wet. Like, I don't know if you can't see it on the camera, but that is really wet. Like, that is insanely wet. Like crazy wet. It's soaked. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's see. Try to get like, you know, a little shadow in there. Hopefully this does not look like a mouth. I'm just trying to get like the like that, like, I don't know what you call it. I don't know what kind of shadow that's called. I want to call it like a ball shadow. So that's the first one. Actually looks really good on camera. Like, I don't know what it is. This camera is so bad, but stuff just looks good on it. At least better on the camera than it looks to me in real life. All right, next. This is a capsule. These are all capsules except for the two sketches on the top, which are just things that exist. You know, this is really hard to get, like, there we go. Hard to get like that line that you need if you're not holding it right. I think like right here is the shadow. I messed that up, but that's fine. You know, we just gotta be more mindful. We got it. I think this side I'm just not going to like really articulate too much. I'm just gonna shade it in with the brush pen, and that should be good. You know, just trying some different stuff out. This is the warm-up, is experimenting with techniques that I otherwise would not do, to be honest, because I am not too fond of too much experimenting, because I see every item as like being too valuable to use. So this is pushing me out of my comfort zone, and that doesn't look too bad actually. It actually looks pretty cool. And we're off to the next one, another capsule. We kind of should speed these up, to be honest, because I didn't want to. I wanted to be able to finish them all, and there's a few of them, but we shall get to them. You know, I just wanted to try something different and to use my gifts. I did unintentionally order new markers. I'm trying to get like a. I'm in the market for a bunch of stuff. All right, I'm in the market for a tripod. I'm in the market for a camera clip to stick to the desk so I could do traditional work at home as well. I want a typewriter. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that I want, and you know, an Applejack hat and a bunch of other crap. So, you know, I have to make sure that I make the right financial decisions. You know, I think we could just like fill that in, kind of get all those. The eyebrow is missing. Alright, and that's that one. So, you know, we got another one. You know, these are coming out alright, but you know, there's a lot to maintain. So this last one, I don't know how we're gonna do this. I'm just gonna do like a outline, end line, because there's no like definitive thing. This is also drawn from a digital sketch as well. Like, all of these drawings are from old digital sketches. I just redrew them traditionally, and I wanted to ink them, or you know, do something different. Like, that was the first sketch, and then this was the second version of that, where I like tried to make it more dynamic, and a lot of the anatomy is not where it should be, but you know, that's fine. Oh yeah, so yeah, the Twilight Zone. A lot of the episodes are the ones that I like. They have the episode with the TV and the guy is fighting. Like, let's take a moment. Like, if you ever seen an episode like What's in the Box, let's take a moment to marvel at the wife. You know, like, the wife, for like how old she is and like the time period, she was kind of hot, right? Like, she was a little, you know, she was a beauty compared to this guy, right? Compared to like the husband. And the funny thing is, like, the husband's like cheating on her with like some young girl, but it's like, bro, like, what does this girl see in him? Like, what does she see in that guy? Like, he's not really like, he's not nice. He doesn't have a lot of money. He just seems like a dope. And she's like, I guess she was like maybe using him, but it's hard to even know if that was even the case, you know, because like, you know, it seemed like she was interested, but you know, it's funny. It was a funny little episode, but that was one of my favorite episodes as well because the character, the TV repair guy, is like a funny looking dude, and he makes a bunch of funny looking expressions. So like, I thought that was pretty cool. Um, we talked about the one with the dummy. I did like Jeopardy Room. Jeopardy Room was pretty cool, and the ending is really like satisfying. A satisfying ending where like the guy essentially gets out, you know. But it's funny how like so many of the episodes that I really like are in the last season of the Twilight Zone, and I didn't know that. I thought a little bit different than that. This is gonna be a long warm up because we still have like 2 more pages, bro. Like, I didn't think that it would be this long. I figured like, oh, I'm just gonna take them out and bust these out really fast. No, we're not busting out anything very fast. We are going a bit crazy. So we have SB 58 and we're going to 57, I guess. Yeah, 57. I gotta stop doing that. This is also a drawing from the tablet. This is a digital drawing that was a style that I really liked at the time when I did it originally, and I have not gone back to that style, so I need to actually pick that back up because it's actually a really good style, and I need to get back to that style. So what we're gonna do here, since this is all shadow, we're gonna do this: draw the shape for the eye and then color everything in. And then we're just like, these brushes are wet, like they are fluid. This one is wet in a weird way, like it's like almost like paint, because you can like see like the ridges like formulating from it. So that's pretty funny. The way I drew this looks kind of like a mouth. I'm trying to think of what other episode that I watched that I liked. There was like that Hangman one, but I didn't really like that episode. I kind of like tuned out that particular one. It was just like not for me. One of the other episodes, what was it, Agnes? I thought that was a pretty funny episode with the robot or the computer falling in love with the people. Thought that was pretty cool. But what could you do with that? And the 4400 is just irking my last nerve. So we don't get much happiness from the 4400 anymore. It is it's literally just like a if I had to describe it, it's a show that wanted to do superheroes but also wanted to be like a police procedural, which can be interesting but also like really annoying, because when I first watched it I thought it was like Lost, and I looked up the dates, and obviously that came out before Lost did. That came out long before Lost. I gotta get this line darker because it doesn't look right. Came out long before Lost did, and that makes it not like Lost, but Lost kind of, I feel like Lost kind of, jacked some of its swag a little bit with the mystery, but the 4400 really threw away the mystery really early on. You know, they had a significant mystery about like, oh, where they been, who took them, and then they started explaining everything right away, as if like they were told by management to elaborate on their story, or else they're gonna get taken off the air. Like, yo, could you guys explain what happened, or else we're gonna take you off the air. And I think that's what it feels like. Like the 4400 does not feel like they did anything significantly experimental after that point. They were like, yo, we're done. We're done. We're done trying to be unique. We have did what we could do, and that's it. You know, we've pushed the line as far as it could go, and you know that's pretty sad because they had a promising future, at least in my opinion. I feel like nobody ever talks about the 4400, and I've never heard it ever brought up before, and it's for good reason. It's forgettable. It had so much promise. Like, even, alright, so even if it's forgettable, like nobody talks about it in the way of like, oh, this show was like, you know, really impressive, or like it had a good premise and then they threw it away, you know, like some of the other shows out there. But they don't talk about it at all. At least I don't never hear nothing about it. I've never heard nothing about it ever. So it's interesting how that happens. How there's like certain shows where everybody's always talking about it, and particularly those shows are, you know, the other shows, but the 4400 is like, I've never once heard anybody ever speak about that show. Like, not once. I've never in my life. And it's crazy because like I theoretically could have been watching the show when I was in school. You know, I could have been watching it before I even went to high school. I could have watched that show, but apparently no. Apparently it was so bad that I never heard of it, but that's not true, because there's a lot of shows that I've never heard of, and I don't think that means that they're bad. It's just I had a weird way of watching TV, and you know, don't worry about my hands, man. I know, but we are spitballing with very little here. You know, we got very minor information regarding the hand, so I am working in reverse, and you know, there's only so much I could do with what I'm given by myself, so I have to acknowledge that and embrace that the way that it is. I wanted to get more into this, but I think I didn't. This video is going to be very long, and I really hope that the battery is charged up enough to supply the camera with enough juice so that we can finish the other things that we have to do, because if not, you know, it will be the first time where I've just done one video, and that would be weird. I mean, I could just record on the phone, honestly. Like, there is no reason to not do that. So let's just get some. But yeah, the 4400 is also, it's added in like new plot points. Like, after they just ran through the Isabel scenario, they're like adding in new plot points and adding a bunch of new stuff, and it's like, how are y'all gonna like resolve this? Like, it feels like this is the type of show that ends on a cliffhanger, so I don't know. If it does, I'm gonna be very angry, because it's annoying. You know, they had a bunch of other stuff that didn't have answered, you know. Like, at least Mutant X, as much as I think that show sucks, it finished, you know, for the most part. It ended on something. Even if they didn't get, like, another season or nothing, it ended on something. You know, the bad guy is, you know, who you think it is. The bad guy is who you think it is in Mutant X. So, that's the difference. The difference is that the bad guy is who you think it is. The problem with this thing is, like, you know, I'm expecting that Jordan Collier is not the savior who they think he is, and I kind of want to see that come to fruition, but they don't feel like it because they don't have a lot. I don't feel like they have, like, a lot of time left, you know. Like, if you look at the episode count, you look at the episode count, and you look at the one thing, how many episodes are left, because I think I'm on the last season. I think there's like 7 or 6 episodes left or something like that, and you know, there is no definitive way that they're gonna be able to ram through all of that and the time that they have left. But you know, we'll see. We shall see, I guess. You know, we're very timid with the shading, and I'm not really worried about I guess how well this might do. I'm more so concerned about if the camera's gonna die. You know, the camera, you know, you gotta check it out. The camera needs help, man. And then maybe we could get like some like little hatching in there. The camera is... I love how I did the shadow on the opposite side of where I drew the shadow. That's good. Good news. Good news for us. So the resolutioners are back, guys. The resolutioners, because today is in like another like particularly warmish day, and I'm noticing on these like non-winter death days, people are out here trying to make the most of it, I guess, which I don't blame them for, but I don't know. I just hope it's because they want to and not because of a resolution. I did the fingers wrong again, but the general shape is good enough. You know, we got some stuff. We got the general shape, so that is... oh my god, the wind! Oh my god, it almost took it! It almost took it! The wind actually almost... Alright, we gotta clip it a little bit harder. But we have, I think we have one more page. And, you know... oh my god, we have 2 more pages. Oh my god, I didn't expect this. What if I broke this video up into part 1, part 2? I'm not gonna do that. But what if I did that? You know, I didn't expect this to take this long. Alright, we're gonna use 58 because I think 58 could handle this pretty easily if we are paying attention. So we'll start down here. We'll try to get this. And then we'll These are all also based on digital sketches. Um, Unfortunately for like glasses on the face, like I often make the miscalculation. I'm gonna try to like put in some approximation of a eyebrow. Get like the little, try to get as much information out of the sketches I can get, so that way I could do the best that I could do. So this side is like light and this side is shadow, so we just have to remember that. But up until this point, like the 4400 has been a roller coaster ride of nonsense, and I'm sure, you know, if you ever go and watch it, you will, or if you've seen it and you like it, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's like not particularly the best show, and there's a lot of ways it's not even a good show. It's just like something to watch, you know. Like, it was interesting, like, oh look, they got these guys and they got powers, and it's like, okay, but then it slowly but surely becomes this like absolute mess where you can't get anything done, and you know, it's like just pure garbage. Like, you can't even enjoy it because it's so bad. And like, so like Tom as a character is unlikable to me, at least. Like, I don't like him. I don't really care about what Tom wants or what Tom likes or what Tom thinks, because he's just so easily like manipulated. As well as like Diana is another character I just don't care about, because honestly she is she has too many talents, and I feel like they did that to you know, prove something that they didn't need to prove. You know, like, if they would have just said that, you know, they just have to be a good agent, that's fine. But it's more than her being a good agent. She has like experience that literally doesn't make sense unless she's like 50 years old. Like, at least in my opinion, she has like so much experience that is like, see, she's qualified. In fact, she's overly qualified for this position. And it's like, Tom doesn't have any experience, it seems like. He seems like nobody, nothing. He's done nothing. He don't ever talk about nothing that he's ever done. He doesn't seem like anybody knows anything about him, really. And it's a little bit annoying how that is like the setup for a lot of things. You know, like, they'll be like, oh, Diana used to be a part of the CDC, or she used to be a part of this, or she studied this for, you know, X amount of years. It's like, bro, like, you maxed out her stats, but the way that you want to tell everybody that her stats are maxed out is like by rattling off like 1,000 things that she's done, or like things that she's been a part of. And it's like, bro, like, you know, I understand, but at the same time, like, I feel like, yeah, don't do that for Tom, bro. Yeah, I don't be like, oh, Tom did this, and it's like they want to prove that I guess she deserves the position, but I don't think that that's necessary. You know, it's a freaking imaginary position at an imaginary place, dealing with an imaginary things in an imaginary world, and you're building up your character to be just a literal god. Like, she's literally a god because she's essentially done everything in that world. The only thing she hasn't done is have a superpower. I think I messed this up, but maybe if I like add more to it, I don't know. I feel like I like made a mistake somewhere. feel like I made a miscalculation, but we can go to the next one. We don't have to worry about that. Alright, next part. But yeah, I feel like they like just try so hard to prove that Diana deserves her job, and it's like, bro, she's literally a field agent at an imaginary place that does imaginary things, and I don't really care too much about that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care who's qualified to do the job or not. I mean, you have people in that office who I think shouldn't be there. Like the one other guy who has like the weird face. Like, I don't think he should be working at Intech. I think he should be not at Intech at all. Like, he just looks like a weasel. And then you have the guys in the basement, the think room, whatever. They're doing whatever they do. It's just too much, and I feel like they purposely are trying to prove that she deserves the position, and I don't like that personally. I think that anybody who's there deserves the position, because Intech is not even a real place, bro. Like, let's get that out of the way. Intech is not a real place. And in that world, if you're going to suspend belief, I'm not thinking that one person deserves to be there over another. Like, I don't think that anybody at Intech deserves to be there more than the other guy. Like, I literally don't care. I'm literally not invested in who deserves to be at Intech or who doesn't. But they make it seem like, everybody's on the chopping block, but only Diana. Like, I don't remember Tom ever listing off any of the stuff that he's done or where he's been. Like, just like, oh, he's just a good agent. Everybody just loves Tom. He's just such a good agent. It's like, bro, yeah, how do we know that though? We didn't get Tom's discography. We don't know what Tom's up to. We don't know where Tom started at. I would have liked to know where Tom came from. Every 30 seconds we got to hear about Diana's discography. So what about Tom, bro? What makes Tom immune to the I gotta tell you what I've done, Ray? And it's like, well, the fact that Tom is a guy, I guess, is the only thing that makes him immutable from that, which is really funny. It's a funny concept that Tom, like, we don't know what Tom. I personally, maybe they did say in an episode, and I just skipped it, but I don't remember them telling us what Tom was doing before Intech or whatever. I don't remember that. If whatever he did before then. I feel like he'd been at Intech his whole life and nothing else, and that's it. And they just kind of like gloss over it, like, oh yeah, Tom has been at Intech for 100 million years and he just lives there. Like, yeah, okay. And then Kyle is another annoying character as well. Like, there was like a whole thing like that was kind of like inappropriate, I feel like, with the Kyle and the teacher. I feel like Kyle and his college professor were having too much of a bond. It felt like bro was having a bond, but they slowed it down. They stopped that almost immediately. And another thing too is, like, I don't like Kyle's ability. Like, I don't even know what his ability is. Like, he sees a woman, like, bro, and apparently he can have sex with the Vision. Like, does that make any sense, bro? Like, does that make any sense that he could have relations with a figment of his imagination? Like, bro, talk about, you know, self pleasure. He's just living out there doing whatever it is, and I think that that's funny. I think it's a bit comical. What type of bird is that? It's like making a noise like it's dying. Might be the crows or whatever, like faking it, like faking a noise to like trick the birds. But yeah, I don't like his power. I don't like how fast they speed ran Isabel. I don't know what I was doing with that shadow. I don't know what I was doing with that specific shadow. You know, this video is long enough. I don't think we're gonna do the last page. I'm gonna look at it, and we might just, because I was not expecting a 40-minute, you know, run through. I was expecting, you know, a cute little 10-minute session, and that's not what happened. I thought it was gonna be like a cute little 10-minute, you know, session, and we got 40 minutes on the clock. So that's you know, that's good in some ways. It's good in the ways of like, it's good for art, you know, that you could just do art for like an hour and not feel anything from it, not feel like you know, taxed by it. But I think most people, you know, don't really think about that. You know, you're not making beautiful masterpieces like you see on the TV. You know, are you really drawing? The answer is yes. Because not everything is, not all of art is beauty. Actually, all of art is beauty, but the beauty varies. So, you gotta accept what you have and move accordingly. Let's get a good look at this, and let's look at the last page. In the future, we will plan better, because we bugged out. Alright, you know what? We're doing the final page. We're doing it. Are we gonna do everything on the final page? Probably not. We'll just do the faces, and not the unfinished face. We'll just do the faces on the right and the left, and we will try to maintain their energy. Alright. We'll try to maintain their energy. This is pretty funny though. Who else has abilities that I don't like? Some of the abilities that they get though are like really stupid. Like the lady, there was an episode recently with the old woman. She could like astral project or whatever. And I was like, bro, like that's such a dumb ability, bro. Like, what is, like, it's so dumb. And it's not dumb because like, oh, astral projection is stupid. It's dumb because it's like, how does that like benefit anything? Like, yeah, she used it to kind of be like, you know, helpful to some degree. You know, she was going places. Like, she was old, right? So she was using her ability to essentially like have like a second life. Like, she was online. She was doing it like she was literally playing Second Life or something. Like, she was playing online, you know what I mean? And while that is cool and all, I don't like that ability. I think that ability was trash. I think that, you know, it would have been cooler if they would have just, because I already knew, like, as soon as this episode, I already knew that they were going to give her some, like, anti-aging ability. And I thought it was going to be like, oh, she could just make herself young. Or she just became young. Like, she has, like, reverse aging or something, or, you know, cellular healing or something. No. They gave her astral projection. Her projection was like a young version of herself, and it's like, bro, are you kidding? Like, you gotta be kidding. Like, such a dumb power. And again, it's not dumb because astral projection is dumb. It's dumb because, like, how does that, like, let's say she was a part of the army. Yeah, you could use that to, like, scout and stuff like that. I guess you could do a lot of, like, nefarious things with it, but I think that is just dumb because, like, I feel like some of these powers are just, like, so stupid. And Tom is, like, in that town with the powers, and the little kid could, like, scream or whatever. It's like, bro, come on, man. Like, I get it. Everybody's not gonna get, like, I don't know, super strength or whatever. But, like, a lot of people, for some reason, have been getting telekinesis. You know what I mean? Like, and if I'm gonna get a power and it's not gonna be, you know, immediately crazy, I think I will take telekinesis, honestly. I think I will honestly take telekinesis, because anything else is just a jip. You're getting scammed. You're getting duped. Getting misrepresented. And I think that is the biggest problem, is that, like, you know, they're taking your potential to have a power and just removing it by giving you, oh, you can fart or something. Like, what? Like, oh, you can have regular bowel movements, that's your superpower. Like, bro, stop. You know, but that's where they were going. Like, oh, or the other one where, like, oh, you, the lady with the, if she touches you, you will see people from your past that you have unfinished business with, and then they will keep haunting you until you finish the business with them, and then you'll be happier. Or the other lady that can, like, remove your anxiety. The removing your anxiety power, I think that is pretty cool. I think that as a power, that's, you know, not a bad power. But the seeing your people that you have unresolved business with, I don't like that one. I think that one is pretty stupid. And then you have the other guy who's like, oh, if people touch my sweat, you know, or if I touch people and they get the oils from my skin on their body as well, they can see the future. It's like, bro, come on, dog. Like, come on. Or the, you know, the spore lady was pretty cool, but they killed her. Like, it was like, yo, your power is a little too good. Or, like, let's think about the power of the guy who had, like, Batman abilities, and he thought he was gonna save the neighborhood. And it's like, are you kidding? Like, that gave him the ability to fight karate style, or not even karate style, like, mixed martial arts, as well as, like, takedown behavior. Like, he was fighting like his Batman Arkham Asylum, and I think that was a power. Like, that was a power that gave him, I guess, superhuman acrobatics. Did that make any sense? Gonna try. I don't think I did this right. Yeah, I didn't do it right. I didn't do it right. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. I didn't do it right. But that's fine. Alright. And thank you. If you made it this far into the video, you are a trooper. An hour-long video. This is what we have. This is what we've done. Unfortunately, you know, we've gone too far. But thank you. If you made it this far into the video, hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.